Hi everyone, welcome back to CEVA Education's live session where I invite some amazing people to come and join me for interviews. Well, so far we have had some amazing people whom I have interviewed, and you can check their interviews out on our YouTube channel at CEVA Education. Today I have with me social psychologist and psychotherapist Mitchelle D'mello, who's going to join me, who is the co-founder at YOUniverse. I'm just going to wait for her to join in, and then we'll begin our session. Today's session is going to be really interesting, especially because we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, that is shamanism. So stay tuned, and until then I hope that you guys have been checking out all our online workshops that we have available for you at CEVA Education. If not, please do check them out. We have some amazing photography and fashion styling workshops coming up. Well, if you all have any questions regarding today's session, which is shamanism, please put the questions in the comments below, and we will address them soon by the end of the session. Hi Natasha, am I audible now? Guys, please give me a thumbs up if I'm audible. Natasha, can you please give me a thumbs up if I'm audible now and if there is good visual clarity? Awesome. So like I was saying, I have now, well, Mitchelle is just going to rejoin me. So Mitchelle, like I said, is a social psychologist and a psychotherapist, and also the co-founder at YOUniverse. Mitchelle, thank you so much for joining me. I hope I'm audible to you and the video is clear now.
Yes, it's very much clear.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mitchelle. Why don't we start from the beginning, and why don't you share your journey a little bit with us once again?
Yeah. So my shamanic journey actually began when I was little. Okay. So as I said that I was all of 5 when I used to love to hear the rain sounds and, watch the thunder and the lightning, and it would fascinate me, whereas I knew people who were scared of all this. I was very much connected to nature, and that's where my actual shamanic journey began, which I was not even aware. And I being someone who never fixed things in life, and I was blessed with like my parents who also didn't do that for me. So I just went with the flow. And as I kept going, I came through this journey of psychology. I was told that, I will be finding some other person. There is another person whom I will connect with, and we will take this forward. And then Natasha came in, and that's how YOUniverse was birthed. Lovely. And that's how this beautiful journey just went on, and that's how even today we go with the flow.
That's amazing. How did you come up with the name YOUniverse with a Y-O-U in it?
So actually, this is, I think Natasha could have explained that better, because she was, I think, driving, down a road, and suddenly she was with somebody who happened to, and we were looking for a name. We were like thinking, what name can we give, what name can we give, that which will connect to us and to the people. So we wanted a unique name. And suddenly she stumbled upon a hoarding, which, the person who was with her said, this name looks very interesting. Why can't you go for this? And she said, yes, why not? And she shared it with me immediately, telling me that, Mitchelle, this is the name. Can we go for this? And I immediately jumped at that opportunity, and I said, wow, YOU, which means you are the center of our universe.
Oh, how lovely. That's wonderful. Mitchelle, thank you so much once again for agreeing to share your knowledge with us about shamanism, and agreeing to come on this live session at CEVA Education today. I'd love to start by asking you, what is shamanism?
Okay. So shamanism is a very, very ancient spiritual practice. So it is about, say, 100,000 years old. Okay. So all our ancestors, to make it simple, were shamans. All our ancestors. Okay. And it is across culture. So it is not only the African aborigines, it's also the Australian aborigines, it's also the Indian Adivasis. So tribes all around, all the ancient ones who walked on this earth were all shamans. And the kind of principles that they followed were all the same everywhere.
Okay. So who are shamans? What exactly is their belief, their philosophy? Like you said that all our ancestors are shamans, but what is it in shamanism? What are those fundamental aspects? What are those beliefs?
Okay. So shamanism believes that an individual or a being is whole in itself. Okay.
Okay.
But due to certain circumstances, due to the journey, they talk about the circle of life. Okay. So there's no beginning and there is no end to the circle. So we just keep going. There is birth and death, and then there is again birth and death. And if you know that even in our cells and even in our brain cells, there is constant regeneration, and there is death and there is new beginning. So
Right.
that is the main fundamental concept. And a shaman is the one who can see through the dark, okay? Who
Okay.
knows. He is a seeker of knowledge, and he is a spiritual person who can see through the dark.
What do you mean when you say see through the dark? Can you elaborate on
That
this?
means, yeah, I'll elaborate and tell you, like when we light a lamp, okay,
Right.
it's illuminated immediately all around, but just
Right.
underneath that, there is darkness.
Right.
So that is where the secrets of the universe, everything, a shaman requires to heal a person, to work, they can be a psychologist, they play multiple roles, in fact, In our world, we talk about separation of psychologist and sociologist, and we talk about anthropologist. But in the shamanic world, in the place where shamans actually resided, they were it was all omnipresent. Everything was one. There was no separation.
There were no borders.
There were no borders.
Right. You use the word heal in the middle. So how can shamanic practices help heal us?
Yes. So shamans generally, they have this practice called the journey. So if, in their ancient culture, what they did was they would always have a fireplace, okay, at the center of their place where they resided, and all of the community would gather in a circle. That was also a circle. It's called a sacred circle. And they would talk about their issues or concerns that they had. So when they spoke, the elders or the people who were gifted there would help each other, by going through these journeys. And
Right.
when they went on these beautiful journeys, they got a lot of awareness. So they went, into these trance-like states and
Right.
got a lot of information. And it was always, always through intention.
Okay. Wonderful. So can you tell me more about how exactly can we use shamanism to heal us? What are the processes and how do we use it in this? So you're talking about a lot of the ancient philosophy of shamanism. How do we apply this in our modern times and how is this associated to us currently?
Okay, so we being shamanic practitioners, I'll tell you how I use it in my daily life.
Sure.
So I currently have a tulsi plant, which I have planted just outside in my balcony.
Right.
And what I did today morning, and I do every morning, is I go and water it and I connect with the spirit of that plant. And I just say a hello to the plant, and you will not believe it, Prachi. Literally, the plant talks back to me, by waving, and literally, you can see the leaves moving and smiling at me. I mean, that is the level to which I connect. So that is also being a shaman. Literally a shamanic practitioner, when you are connected to the elements of nature, when you are connected to everything around you, from the center of your heart. That is one belief that shamans have. It's not through your head. You have to go out of your head. You have to go out of logic. Only and only then can you connect to becoming even a practitioner.
Oh, wonderful. So there's a huge aspect over here with connecting to the elements of nature that I understand. So I have a confusion over here, Michelle, if you can clarify that. Is shamanism a particular culture? Is it a religion? Or is it a spiritual journey? What exactly is it?
So it is a way of life.
Okay.
Just like Hinduism, it's a way of life. And there are a lot of practices like we have in every culture. So I'll tell you something very interesting. Many of the practices of shamanism are actually followed by many religions across, even in Tibet, like the Buddhists, who are following Buddhism in Tibet, they follow a lot of these practices. The Mahayana, they have the Hinayana and the Mahayana. The Mahayana actually follows the principles of shamanism, where they have the Bodhisattva who goes on the journey and brings back all the medicine that is required for us to heal.
Okay, very interesting. What exactly is shamanic healing, and what do you exactly do as a shamanic practitioner?
Okay, so if somebody comes to me with a concern, okay, a physical concern, maybe they're having some health issues, or they're constantly falling sick, or it could be even specific, like if they are having a heart issue, or they're having, some cancer or some kind of an issue, because we also work into palliative. So when they come with that, we first take down an entire history and understand the case. That is like, mandatory for us, understanding the case. And then we, ask them that one intention with which we can journey for them. So I'll give you an example of a girl who was all of 22, and she is mentally ill. She's having a difficulty in communicating with socially with people around. Okay, so she only is confined to her house in her room, and her parents were really, really worried about that because she is just on her phone 24/7. So they are like, what will happen to this girl? She is not, and she's very aggressive. If somebody tries to correct her, she gets very aggressive. So we told the parents there is a way where we can help her. We'll have to put one intention, okay, and do the journey. So the intention is given by the parents, okay.
What is this journey? What is, when you say journey, what exactly is a journey?
So what we do generally in a journey is there is something called drumming, okay? Drumming, rattles, chants are ways in which we can go into a trance-like state. We don't need to use any other forms. It's absolutely simple, because the brain goes into something called the theta state, okay? The theta state is that state when you are just about to wake up from your sleep, or when you are about to go to sleep. So that state when you're not completely, awake and you are not in your sleep state, you can cross the veils of this ordinary reality and access the non-ordinary reality. So you go with the intention, because shamanism believes that everything is spirit. Everything is spirit means that there is within us the higher force, okay? That is the energy. We are all energy. That is also, again, if we have to see scientifically, it is quantum physics.
Right.
So everything is matter and energy, and everything communicates. Although we say the walls look solid to us, but they're all moving at once.
Absolutely. Beyond
So
molecules, that is what we are. We are all energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So everything, like, sorry, you're coming to something?
No, I was just asking you. You mentioned that, 2-3 things you mentioned over here right now. You said first, if somebody has any physical ailments, we can heal them. Then you gave him this example of this girl who's who is this girl who has, some mental traumas and emotional. So are you telling me that shamanism can help resolve physical matters, physical issues, emotional issues, and mental issues?
Yes, it can. Very much. So if you want me to elaborate on this journey, I'll tell you that we did the intention. We went on a journey, and we did see a lot of disturbing scenes in her space. So there's something called the spirit guides who come along with us in our journey, and our power animals. So we go along with them in this beautiful journey by setting an intention, and they show us a lot of things which is beyond, the imagination. So that's how we don't take too much of the information of the person. We just ask them one intention and we go on the journey. And when we come back, actually, there is so much information about the trauma of the girl, that she has gone through, some issues that she has with her father, which is causing the issues even currently for her with her father. And it was all validated by them when they were fascinated by the results that we gave them, actually, from the journey. So there's a lot of soul loss that happened to her, through her lifetime. So when we work through shamanism, we can also bring back those soul parts from wherever the soul loss has happened.
Okay, excellent. While we're talking about this, I think it's a great time. You know, you had earlier on our phone call earlier, you had mentioned to me about womb healing, this word. Can you tell me a little bit about what is womb healing?
Yes. So womb healing, like, as I said, we are a representation of everything around us and the universe.
Right.
Okay. So our heart has an electromagnetic field,
Okay.
just like the electromagnetic field of the core of the earth. It
Okay.
beats at the same time and the same rate. Okay. Similarly, our blood, the streams of the river and the blood streams flow in the same way.
Okay.
And so is our womb, is the seat of creation. Okay, that's where actually the creation happens. So
Right.
when we talk about womb, we talk about the men, that is the hara for the men, and for the women, it is the womb healing.
Okay.
So within us resides something called the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. Okay.
Okay.
So the sacred feminine is the goddess within us. So you can see the archetype of maybe Parvati, or you can see the archetype as Mother Mary, or you can see her as goddess Lakshmi, Saraswati. They are all archetypes of the divine feminine, okay, which also resides in us. And the divine masculine is the Prince Charming, or you can say Jesus, Krishna, Buddha. All of them are the symbolism of the divine masculine. So when
Right.
there is a balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the complete thing, that creates a beautiful journey within us, okay, that makes it a sacred space in our womb for us. It creates, somebody who has a balanced womb, or a sacred womb, will be able to be very creative, will be
Right.
nurturing, not only towards self, but also towards family and people,
Right.
and even will be disciplined and goal oriented at the same time.
So how does this womb healing help us, and how can it help men, like you said?
Men and women actually who have faced relationship issues, who have had past traumas, or any kind of, even sexual disturbances that they face,
Yeah.
or any kind of health issues that they are going through, they can be healed. Even PCOS, PCOD,
Oh, wonderful.
all those things, yes, and infertility, difficulty, it could be miscarriages, difficulty in getting pregnant,
And how does it help?
all those issues.
And how does it help men?
For men also, in a way, see, if sometimes fertility issues with men also come up, so
Right.
those can be helped. And even if there's a suppression, they're not able to express their creativity. With men, it happens sometimes that they are not so forthright, they are suppressing, they can't connect, they are the typical maybe the male chauvinists, or that's how the society puts it
Right.
for them. They have to behave in a particular way.
Yeah.
So then the woman doesn't seem to connect with the man, and that's where the issues then start coming up between them in the relationship.
Right.
So with a man also, very beautifully, it can help him come out of his suppression and be the original, same way as I said, the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine within him, to
Right.
balance that as well.
Wonderful. How does this? You had also mentioned that it helps and break ancestral patterns. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so one of the very, very intense work that we do in shamanism. So as I said, womb healing is one. There is ancestral healing as well. So
Okay.
if
What?
people, yeah, ancestral healing is actually, there is lineages, we have come through an ancestor, okay, and we have, our DNA has those patterns, okay.
Right.
Now it could be a suppression of our emotions. It could be certain belief systems that are there residing in our family, that money is bad, or it's evil to have a lot of money, and you should not be selfish. People who have money have I'm just giving you examples of
Right.
certain belief systems which go on in families. Or you have to be very particular, you should not spend. That is one kind. Or it could be in relationship that they're suffering, they are not being able to get married, and there are like entire family, there is an issue, like the entire brothers and sisters, none of them are able to settle down well, or are not happy in relationships, or there's a series of cancers happening in the family, or health issues happening,
Right.
or heart issues happening.
Right.
All that is ancestral patterns.
Okay. Excellent. So we've spoken about a lot of different kinds of healings right now. You've shared knowledge about, you know, womb healing and ancestral healing and different things. What I really would love to know from you is, while you're conducting, and you know, I need some clarity in this, while you're conducting your shamanic healing sessions on through any of these channels, right? What is the process? I mean, because our viewers really need to understand that, you know, is it like a yoga, is it like a meditation, or is it like a hypnosis? What exactly happens? Or is it like
Okay.
chanting rituals? What exactly happens in
So so what we do, Prachi, generally, whenever we work through shamanism or going on a journey, we
right?
always open sacred space. Okay.
Okay.
The sacred space, as we said, is within us, but we physically also open it. So we, honor the directions, the elements of nature.
How
We
do you do?
invite, it is through verbally. We
Okay.
speak verbally and we chant with rattles and drums.
Right.
Yeah, because drums and rattles, as we say, music has a capacity for us to change our emotions. In the
Wonderful.
same way, the drums and rattles have a capacity for us to take us into a trance-like state.
So does drum circles come from shamanism?
Yes, it does.
Oh, wow, very interesting. I did not know that. And why? What is the association with these drums and rattles?
So, as I said, they are musical instruments. They were used even, as a community to celebrate, to enjoy, to have fun, and even to go into the spiritual, realm. So I'll tell you about divination. Now, when our early man actually lived, there was a lot of, there was the evolutionary way of them, getting into this was there was a lot of fear sometimes of the attack of a predator. So they had to be that aware and alert. In fact, through shamanic journeys, you can even track predators.
Okay.
You can track the position from which they are coming. You
Oh,
can know, yes, you can do that. It's that powerful.
so it
And you
makes.
will be guided.
So are you saying it makes you more aware? And
Yes, very deeply aware and connected.
okay, excellent. So what I'm understanding is elements of nature play a huge role in shamanism.
Yes.
Excellent. I think this is a great time to take a question from one of our followers. Ria30 has asked two questions. I'll just take those. Uh, one of her question is, can you interact with animals through shamanism?
Yes. So the shaman, when he goes on a journey, there are three worlds that he has to, generally go into. It could be the lower world, the middle world, or the upper world. So the
Okay.
lower world is where you are very deeply connected to the earth, and that's where you meet all the animals. So Alice in Wonderland, if you've known, how
Yeah.
she goes out, through
Yeah.
that thing and she meets the rabbit and she meets
Right.
the Mad Hatter and all.
Right.
Similarly, it's like, the similar metaphor for this is that we go on a journey and we meet our power animals and they give us a lot of messages and we always go with an intention. There is a
Love.
discipline. You cannot just do it randomly. You have to follow the discipline.
Hmm. What kind of impact do animals and elements of nature play on us in shamanism? I mean, what exactly do we learn from them? How does
Yeah.
it
So,
assist
yes.
with?
So I'll tell you one example I'll give you of my own. In fact, my daughter and I, we were sitting, on one lazy afternoon and she wasn't studying. So I told her, look, Ria, you got to study. It's time you have your exams. And suddenly I saw a bird which perched, she was completely drenched and she came and she sat on the windowsill and she started cleaning herself. So I just asked Ria, I said, Ria, can you look at her? What is she trying to teach you? So she didn't have an answer, but she kept looking at her. So I told her she's trying to teach you persistence. She's
Oh,
not giving up. So every bird, every animal that we encounter in our daily life, if we see through the eyes of a shamanic practitioner, there is something, Prachi, believe me, you will learn from them.
absolutely. I think you've said a very beautiful thing, you know. In fact, this is something that I spoke in one of my another live sessions as well, that how if you just sit and observe the world around you and just for 2 minutes stop thinking about everything that is happening in your life and just observe the nature around you, there's so much to learn from just being present in nature and from all the elements across nature. Absolutely. So I think this is a beautiful takeaway from today's session. Guys, if you all have any questions that you would like to ask Michelle, please put them down in the comments below, and we'll definitely take them towards the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. Neeta, hi. Manjari, hi. Nikki, hi. Hello, everyone. So let's continue. Michelle, what is animal medicine?
Okay. So as I said, the lower world has the animals when we go on a journey, but otherwise also, when we live in our modern life, we encounter like, if I have some issue, I would always, just sit down in meditation, okay? Or even if I'm going down doing my regular chores, I will ask with an intention and wait for a response. So I might just see a snail suddenly, and I know that there's a message the snail has to give me. And I quickly know that I need to slow down in whatever I'm doing. Maybe I'm going way too fast. I'm not focusing so much. So the snail is here to teach me to focus and to be present with myself at the same time to slow down.
Lovely.
So that's one way. Another way is like, if somebody has an issue in communicating, and if they come to us and tell us, that I have difficulty or I'm having integrating the peacock medicine. It helps because peacock is for showing off and, to communicate, to show off to the world. So it's beautiful. In fact, in all our workshops, we always do an integration. We always do a journey quickly and we ask what is the animal medicine that's required. And the energy of that animal medicine is integrated with the workshop.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is on a spiritual, deeper level. I thought animal medicine would be like a medicine, animal medicine.
No, it's not literally a medicine.
Excellent. There are so many misconceptions about shamanism that people have. In fact, you can break some of them for us today. This will be a great session to break some of those misconceptions. Is there any common misconception that you see in shamanism that people think that
people talk about substance, that they need to use some substance and only then they go into trance, which I have already clarified by saying that you don't need to, because even when you're watching TV or you're watching your favorite program, you always go into a trance, right? Or if you're reading a book, or if you're in nature, we have a tendency to, the mind just goes into the trance like state. So similarly, when we are doing a journey, we just need to use rattles and we need to use drums, and we can still go into that trance-like state without using any kind of external, consumption of any substance.
Right. There's one more thing, so it's what what we've heard is that shamans are intermediary between spirits and humans. Is that true? Can shamans really communicate with spirits? And when we talk about spirits, are we talking about external spirits or are we talking about our inner soul? What exactly is?
So everything is energy, Prachi. So everything within us also, there is something that's within us. We call it our being, okay? That which communicates to us, that which speaks to us, okay? Only if we have to hear it. And we hear it only in stillness. Similarly, every plant, every animal, everything in the universe, including the sun, the moon, and every element of nature, is connected through the spirit. And even, when we talk about the upper world, we talk about our angelic realms, we talk about our gods, our masters, our spirit guides. They are also in, either they will show you, or they will, through your senses, you can sense it, you can feel it, or you can hear it. As a clairaudient, you will be able to hear it. So they will give you messages. So there is no such thing as, any kind of encounter with spirits and all. Absolutely everything is spirit around us, and that is what spirit we are talking about is energy.
Beautiful. So now I understand this more clearly, and thank you for this. Thank you for this clarification, breaking my preconceived notion about shamanism today. Is there science behind shamanism? You know, you've spoken a lot about physical healing and emotional healing and mental healing. There has to be science behind this. So, is
Yes.
there?
So, yes, there is a science, in fact, Prachi. Our ancient ones, actually, the ones who were shamans, they would observe everything in nature, right from the sun to the moon to the position in which the sun is now. And that's how even a lot of knowledge got created. A lot of books were written. There was a lot of observation that was done. There was a lot of learning that came in from there. So there is a science. So I'll tell you how it works. So when I connect to a tree which is outside of my house, I will put an intention to talk to the tree and ask the tree if there is something that it wants to tell me. Okay. So it might just give me a message. Now, if it's asking me that, give me a blessing, I will do that. And when I give it the blessing, you will actually see the tree blooming even more. So
Right.
there is a quantum science, because we say words have power and words have a vibration,
Right.
and intentions also.
That's wonderful. So I'm assuming now, after my session with you today, that shamanism is no black magic. It's absolute science, and there is a lot of
Absolutely.
knowledge behind this. So thank you so much for giving me this experience and knowledge. What has been, as a shamanic practitioner, can you share some of your experiences with us that you have had personally?
Yes. So there was one client actually who came to us for womb healing, and
Right.
she has a difficulty in conceiving. Okay. So we put her, we made her relax completely and we took her through. So every client is different. The journey that we might go with you will be different from when we will go for someone else. And the elements that may come in, yes.
No, no,
You're
Michelle.
saying
So
something?
I think you misunderstood my question. My question was
Yes.
that, as a shamanic practitioner, what impact did shamanism have on you personally, individually?
Okay. So, on me, actually, it opened up so much for me in terms of my personal healing,
Okay.
in terms of my personal awareness, and it gave me a sense of calmness and stillness from within. And it
Beautiful.
actually helps me even in my psychological practice.
Lovely. Times to modern times. I mean, when we talk about shamanism, we talk about uh, such ancient tribes and aboriginals, and we think of it from a very ancient perspective. But like you said, shamanism can be applied in a modern time as well. So, has there been a change? Because obviously we've all evolved as human beings. What the shamans earlier were are no longer. Today we have shamanic practitioners like you, and earlier there were those tribal shamans. I'm sure that there are some tribal shamans today as well. But with the world changing, has shamanism evolved uh, to a way that, with our new modern life, how has it evolved?
So I'll tell you one thing, the principles stay the same, Prachi.
Right.
So whatever the principles, the core principles, of the human or the divine within you, they all stay the same. The
Right.
difference is that the people, the shamans actually, lived among nature and lived with nature. The difference is that we are living in our daily, in a proper constructed house. That's the only difference. And they are very much connected. And we are not in that sense, but if we do the practice, we can very much stay connected. And it's beautiful, trust me. You can sit in the beautiful corner of your house and you can go on such a deep journey that you'll come back so relaxed and rejuvenated back.
Beautiful. I think I'm definitely going to take up a session from you. How did you learn where did you learn this? How does one become a shamanic practitioner? Are there,
So the thing, yeah, so I'll tell you that the thing is that I have followed many, masters all around the world. There's no specific one. So there are many masters, from where I've learned. And then, of course, I've read and I've watched a lot of things, I've researched, and as I told you, little children are shamans. So if you know of children, you will always see them so creative, so
Right.
fascinated by everything around. So that is how actually my practice came into being.
Excellent. Is there a degree course or a diploma course available in India somewhere, or some kind
So
of
we do teach, yeah, we do teach, but what we do is we teach in parts. Like, if we do the ancestral healing, it's a 2-day workshop. Then we do the womb healing, that's another 2-day. Then the divine feminine, there is a lot of work. Then besides that, there is, if you have the shamanic practice, then you have the basic in that, which is a 2-day workshop. Then there is an advance in that, which is another 2-day workshop. So
Right.
there are divisions in that and subdivisions.
Excellent. So there is no long-term course in shamanism, or there is not a particular shamanic center that one can go to live in and get this knowledge, acquire this knowledge in detail.
No, because shamans actually believe the sacredness lies within you. All you need to do is just look into it.
Oh, wonderful. That is so beautiful. So wonderful thought. So it's not like a particular ashram that,
No, 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 no. It's not like that at all.
Okay, beautiful. That's lovely. I'll take one more question. This question was asked by one of the followers as well. She says, can you find out your life purpose through shamanism?
Yes, you can. You can go with the intention. In fact, I told you, even though I didn't know any of these practices, even as a child, I was always, I was clairvoyant. So I was always shown this journey. But you have to be, out of ignorance. That's very important. You have to be very much connected to yourself.
Right.
So as little children, we are. But somewhere down the line, when we are 8, 9, we are conditioned, we are programmed into this is good, this is not good, this is how it has to be. And the fears are instilled into us. So you'll have to work on yourself. And when you work on yourself, actually, you get a lot of clarity on where is your path and what's your journey and what are you headed to.
True. Thank you so much for this question, Ria, and thank you for answering it, Michelle. I have one question from one of our team members as well, Sanad. He's asked, do good and bad spirits really exist, or are they all the same in nature?
So I'll tell you, at the core of our being as souls, we are all pure. But we have a journey as a soul, we have some contracts which we come with. So like there are good and bad people. I'm sure we are not all good when we interact with each other. We like some people, we don't like some people. So these people, when they pass away, they're the same. They don't change, spirits don't become good suddenly. If they have not had such good experiences, or if they've been grumpy or they've been aggressive, as human beings, they're going to carry forward that in their soul. So that will always be there. But we say deep inside of us, we are all like, pure.
So experiences and karma makes us what we are.
Yes, that's true.
And our experiences. Right. I think I have a huge belief in this as well. So I would personally completely agree to this, that, what we do are good and bad deeds, and what happens to us, how we respond to it in life is how our soul defines. And I think you very beautifully said that our souls, everyone's soul is very pure in nature. But yes, it's our experiences that...
so I'll add something to that, Prachi. When certain difficult situations come up in our life and we want to move ahead, but we are not able to, something or the other comes up, people try to put us down, they say things, or we hear things around us. Right. Now, it depends on how we take it. If we take it in a way that, okay, now I need to rise above that, I need to work on myself, even further enhance my skills, because we encounter this many a times. Why should I even, try to cover it in a flowery way? I'm telling you my own journey. When we were walking, people thought, what will they do and what will they create? But we just trusted ourselves and the guidance that we were given. And no matter what happened, because see, everybody is not going to be happy with your success. You understand that, right? So there are different kinds of people that are going to be around. But if you have come to the level where you know your soul's path and your soul's journey, You will just go with it, and it'll help you elevate to the next level.
Absolutely. I think you've said it very nicely. Thank you so much, Michelle. I will take a couple of last few questions before we wrap up. Guys, if you all have any questions, this is your final chance. Please put down your questions on the comments below, and we'll definitely take them from you. So yes, Michelle, can you suggest some books, and some documentaries for people to read and acquire more knowledge about this? And if you can also share some names of some amazing masters who can inspire us to learn more about shamanism.
Yeah, so there is The Last Shaman. There is a documentary, The Last Shaman. You can watch that. And there are a lot of books, which are available. Even if you go on Google, there are a lot of books on shamanism which are there. One of the famous masters is Michael Harner. Okay, he's very good. And there are many actually around the world. One of the most famous is him.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing this. Lastly, is there anything more that you would like to share and, tell our viewers about shamanism and give some final guidance to everyone?
Yeah, first, in fact, I would like to, thank you, Prachi and CEVA Education, actually for setting this platform for me to come and speak, because you don't know what you have actually done in doing so. Because we are so busy in our daily lives, we do practice shamanic practices, we do it, but you actually awakened me in these 2-3 days. I had to hear and read and
Thank you.
connect, and it really helped me become so happy that I was looking forward to this interview with you today. And my work is about spreading consciousness, and that is what YOUniverse stands for. Like Natasha also told you last time in her dream work, that
Absolutely.
is why we are so happy that we could be a part of this.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Your words mean a lot to me, especially because at CEVA, we are trying to build a community of people who are change makers, who are people who are trying to create a change in different professions by sharing their knowledge. And I think all these topics are topics that are not discussed much. I mean, obviously, shamanism and dream interpretation the session that I had with Natasha as well, uh, these are topics that are not discussed. In fact, Natasha and me were talking about it, that in fact that subject is so vast that there should be centers dedicated to study that in India, where there should be dream centers. Similarly, shamanism is also such a vast subject, and both of y'all have been doing such wonderful work. Y'all are breaking misconceptions, and y'all are connecting people through their mind, body, and soul. And that's a beautiful thing. And in today's world, we are so caught up in our um, in our physical sense only, with our work, home, life, those kind of tasks, that we don't connect much with our inner selves. So I think YOUniverse is doing a fantastic job at that. And I look forward to future collaborations with YOUniverse and with you and Natasha. So thank you so much once again, Michelle, for joining us for today's session. Guys, please don't forget to catch this session on YouTube and on our IGTV at CEVA Education. You can catch it at CEVA Education's uh, Instagram channel, or you can also catch it at the YouTube channel of CEVA Education. And we'll be releasing it soon. I have also just pinned CEVA Education right now, so you can check it out from that. Thank you so much, Michelle, once again for this
Thank you,
one.
Prachi, also.
And thank you for evolving me and all of us around.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And for more of our live sessions.